YouTube, what is going on? So we are right here, right? 4.4 is right upon us with the release of Himeko Nova, a brand new main DPS character. But not only with that, but it is the release of a new quote-unquote team archetype, that being the Trailblaze team for the most part, right? Given the fact that the highest DPS team actually has members who are not part of the actual Express based off of theory crafting team calculations, as we can see up here, Himeko Nova, Remembrance MC, it's Trailblaze member, Welt's Trailblaze member, Mortonix Blade is not a Trailblaze member, but for the most part it is essentially a Trailblaze team, with the main focus being Himeko Nova as the pivotal character on the team doing the DPS damage. Today we're going to be talking about for account advice, and that is going to be where exactly you should be looking to spend Stellar Jade. Should you be focusing on getting a whole new team, or should you be focused on vertically investing into arguably the two other team archetypes? And I say archetypes because of the fact that one is essentially just one team, where the other one is an archetype, and we'll get more into that. But as I said, Himeko is going to be coming out. It's very exciting. I personally am going to be getting her and her light cone, testing her out and all of that fun stuff with my current characters. But the thing that we need to talk about is the other banners, and this first half is very interesting because this is the main talking point that I'm going to be discussing. We are going to be getting Sparksy, Donghun PT, and Evernight. We're also going to be getting obviously the fake collab with Rin, Gilgamesh, and then phase 2 is going to be Saridra, Anaxa, and Aventurine. Honestly, I think everybody should be avoiding these three characters, but the main talking point is going to be phase 1 because quite frankly we have three teams that have building blocks in the phase 1 patch. Obviously, Himeko Nova, Donghun PT, that is the quintessential starting off point for a Himeko Nova team. I've talked about this plenty of times. Now, granted, is it the most optimal and ideal setup for Himeko Nova? No, absolutely not. But I bring it up because it is a good starting point for a lot of players who are new, who are returning. Veteran players, obviously, you know, that's a separate discussion, it's a separate video all in of itself. But for the most part, for a new player, for a beginning player, that is a good starting point. Now we have two other branching metas over here. We have an Elation team with Sparksy, and we also have the building blocks of a Remembrance team with Evernight. Now, going over to the theory crafting side of things, we can see here that we have a bunch of different teams in terms of raw DPS numbers, total damage output for everybody on the team. And you can see right there, Himeko Nova is at the pinnacle and at the top. She is the highest DPS character in the game. I mean, that is just plain and simple herself. But everything is just built optimally for like the main DPS character essentially. Now, when talking about the other two metas, we have, like I said, Elation, and that's why I said teams with like a little bit of an asterisk, because Elation technically has three separate teams. You can have a Sparksy focused team, you can have a SW level 9s team, or you can have a Evanesia team. Now, granted, the downside about that is you need Yao Guang and all of those teams to function at peak pinnacle power, so if you do plan on going that way, you have to wait for her to come back, or if you do have her, then this is an excellent opportunity. The other meta that we are going to be talking about is going to be Remembrance. Obviously, everybody who has played through Amphorius when it was initially coming out knows that the Remembrance team was and could potentially still be considered one of the better teams in the game because of its sustainability option. Now, going back over here, again, theory crafting side of it, take all of this with a grain of salt with the numbers, but for the most part, it is somewhat similar and accurate, but we're going to be looking at what all of the different team options are going to be looking at. The first Elation team that we can see here is going to be Evanesia, Mortonix Blade, Yao Guang, and Welt. Keep in mind, Mortonix Blade and Well are going to be pivotal and very prevalent throughout a bunch of these different calculations. But for the most part, we have our first Elation team here. averaging about 40.6 million damage. And then we jump down 2 slots. We have our other Elation team, level 9, Sparksy, Yao Guang, and Welt team. This is a team I really like using, taking out Welt, and obviously my Silver Wolf is E2S1. And I would put Hua Hua in there for energy regeneration and attack bonuses. But another team option there. Now, I did talk that we have a third option, and it is actually right here. It is actually going to be Sparksy, Yao Guang, Sparkle, and Welt. Again, take out Welt, put Hua Hua there, or you can even put Dan Heng PT in that slot too. But that is your third Elation option. And I have talked about this before, and I will talk about it again because I do think it is important to bring up. But I do think that the Elation team, a whole archetype, I know a lot of people aren't really happy because it is good but also bad in the same sense, because you need one character, and that is Yao Guang on all the teams, but you do essentially have 3 separate main DPS characters, so it is very nice. Anyways, jumping back to the Remembrance team, you can see jumping down here, it is Castris, Evernight, Cyrene, and Hyacinth. This team, while the damage output isn't as high anymore in comparison to the other teams, power creep, all of that jazz, the good thing about this team is the survivability capabilities, because of the fact that you are going to be healing with Castris, with the Netherwing. You're also going to be healing with Hyacinth, with Ika quite a bit. Lots of damage with the Evernight, especially if you have all their Lyca and Cyrene, also providing utility for everybody, increasing their ultimates and overall capabilities. So what exactly is going to be the most optimal route? Well, quite frankly, the most optimal route right here, given this patch, is to go down the Himeko Nova route. You start off with Astral Express members when you start the game, or you gradually play through the game, and ideally, right, you get through Amphorius, you get the Remembrance MC, you get Dan Heng PT right here, and you get Himeko Nova. You're essentially looking at a team right then and there. Maybe if you have good cons, Eidolons in your Welt, you run that as well. The Elation aspect of it is a little bit in the downward negative ideal, simply because of the fact that Yao Guang has already reran and she is waiting her second rerun, so that is a very negative aspect of her. Kind of the same situation when it comes to the Remembrance team, not mainly that the other main DPS character isn't here, but for a most optimal Remembrance team, a lot of people might be thinking, well, Cyrene's out, that's got to be the key figure there. It's actually not. Hyacinth is the pivotal character on that team, providing all the crazy healing that she is able to provide. So when it comes to these 3 teams, all 3 of them are fantastic and very good, and I will be going over all of them more in depth, because I think we do need to start having that discussion as more and more teams start emerging, more metas, more archetypes, all of that, so on and so forth, that I am going to actually start talking about. And I think I will start with this Elation team, very similar aspects. Obviously, vertical investment issue is there because only one of them has. Anyways, taking that aside, right, the most beneficial route right now, I think newer players and returning players who haven't played for a while, the best route is to go Himeko Nova with Dan Heng PT. I do think getting both of them is going to be very, very strong. Yes, Himeko Nova's most optimal damage output is, I think it's the Decimation, I believe. And Dan Heng PT doesn't suffice that aspect of it. He fills into the verdict side of it, but she's still phenomenal. Lots of shield, lots of attack bonus in his kit. You pair him up with like a Ushaka set, increasing Himiko's damage, I think is very good. I think the secondary option is to go down the Remembrance path, because of the fact that you can still look forward to Hyacinth coming back on another rerun, its survivability, all of that fun jazz. The downside with Elation, if it was reversed in Yao Guang, let's say in this slot, then I do think that this is actually would be the better choice, because you would get the pivotal supporting character for the teams. But yeah, I definitely think that it is going to be a very good conversation that we can be having. I know DPS wise, one of them is clearly ahead of the others, but the other key aspects of all of them I think is very good and noteworthy to talk about and showcase.